Since we're on the topic of, Eagles, Steelers, let's talk about this Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
I just want to say this, and this is the point I want to make. So watching the film on Hard Knocks, it's two parts that were. Let's start with the Eagles Steelers game. All right, so that game, like, if you can see the game plan, like, I like how they do the game plans. You can see, like, each team that they go against the opponent. The game plan was simple. They said that this team is good, but the main person that we have to talk about is 2-6. And they stopped them. They kept stopping 2-6, and that's what made me happy about them. But one thing that pissed me off was that unsportsmanlike conduct. And it pissed me off because it's clear as day that Darius Slay punched Washington.
Punched him twice. Right? And
the nerve of the ref coming to Tom and telling him that it's 2 fouls on the play and both was on the offense on 80 and 19. And Tomlin was like, so you did not just see what just happened? He just punched my receiver.
Not to mention that Mitchell threw a punch on Calvin Austin too. And Steeler threw a punch, which is a crazy thing.
Then the ref says we collectively agreed that they were trying to pull each other away.
He was trying to get his hands off him. Yeah, that was
What? And then the hitting the long snapper. Come on, he got pushed into him.
So I was listening to DK, and he was talking about that. He spoke to Mont Adams about that, and apparently Mont Adams went to the ref and says, "Hey, am I lined up good?" Because the ref had the view on the long snapper, and apparently the ref gave him the go ahead, and the ref's right there and saw the Eagles lineman push him into the long snapper and still threw the flag on him.
See,
isn't that nuts?
That's one thing. It is a rule you can't touch the long snapper, but if you get pushed into him, what
can you do?
That's what I'm saying. You can't do anything about that.
And then my last thing with that game wrap up was we had the game. And like if you was just listening to Mike Tomlin and Russ, like they was on page. They was on page the whole game. And at halftime, when they was going in the locker room, he was talking to Russ, and he was asking him, like, do the boys seem scared? Or are they nervous? And, like, do you see something that you don't like? And he was like, no, it's good. Like, we're about to win this game. Oh, if Najee didn't fumble, bro. If Najee didn't fumble, we would have won this game.
It's definitely a turning point.
Watching it after the game, because after the game I wasn't really mad. But watching Hard Knocks, it was like, bro, we had the game. We had it. But
the momentum was building.
Oh my God.
I mean, it surely was. I don't know if they had the game. It most certainly wouldn't have been a 2-touchdown.
That was a scoring drive. Because that was after the flea flicker.
They would have for sure been in field goal range. Like at minimum, it would have been 2016. A little bit more motivation to get a stop. But I mean that just took, I felt like, the heart away from the team. I felt like they saw that happen. I'm like, it's over. Yeah, Najee doesn't fumble rarely ever with. I think he might have 2 fumbles in his career and has only lost one of them.
This is his first. Well,
this is his first real mistake.
Even though they
non-contact at all.
They gave it to Russ.
Well, I know that, but
it was definitely on
he owned up to it. So.
Definitely on Najee.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Another thing is, man, that play call, that's another thing. That pitch, dude, it hasn't worked. We ran 12 of them that game. And we averaged 1 yard on it.
Him with
not
pitching,
with any of the running backs, that pitch is not working.
If you want to do the pitch, just do it with Warren. Well, but then again, I don't know, because
I saw a stat, dude. They are averaging 2 yards per carry on a pitch play. All of them together. Najee actually has the most success with it. He also has the most pitch plays, but they're averaging 2 yards on that play. Why is it still being used?
I just feel like the motion of running up the middle shouldn't be a pitch, whereas just a standard handoff, I feel like, is just a quicker movement.
Well, you don't
if you're going to pitch
either.
it to the outside. And with all due respect, you're not pitching it to the outside to Najee. The only pitch that should be in this offense should be a pitch to Warren outside the tackles. Like, I just don't understand the concept of a pitch to go run into the inside. But either way, I feel like we're kind of beating a dead horse with this Eagles game. It was a tough pill to swallow. At the end of it, I genuinely feel like the box score doesn't really give you a good depiction of how the game was actually played. But either way, they won. Caps off to them. They are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. But with all that being saying, George didn't play in this game. George is officially ruled out of the Ravens game this weekend. As of today, we're recording this on Thursday night. T.J. Watt, he got banged up in the Eagles game, and I know that scared the life out of all of us because that was really kind of non-contact. Like, that
was towards the end too.
Towards the end, and so the fact that he's off the injury report, he is going to play on Saturday. Is very fortunate. Very fortunate. Elliott is doubtful. Ogunjobi is going to be questionable. Dante
Jackson's questionable.
Dante Jackson is questionable.
And Justin Fields is out.
Justin Fields is out. So, yeah. So, it's great that we're going to have Watt. If we didn't have Watt and George Pickens, that would give us an absolute 0% chance to win this game. I think we could all agree on that. But still not having George Pickens in such a matchup that's coming up in this Baltimore game, this is a win and you win the division kind of game. This is historically one of the ones that we take care of. But the way I'm seeing teams scheme defensively against us without George Pickens has me seriously concerned for this Ravens game. Juwan, you're the one that came in pretty positive. I do want to hear your perspective on this.
Yeah, because we won last 9 out of 10 versus them.
8 out of 9.
8 out of 9.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but we've won with backup quarterbacks, and we've been in situations like this. So there's nothing different from this situation, from the past situations. I understand that George Pickens out. That just means that everybody needs to step up, which means that Najee needs to step up because last game, he basically cost us the game last week. He needs to step up. The wide receivers need to step up. I think that this is the perfect matchup for us. It's a better matchup than it was last week. Because last week, we had trouble with the Eagles, I think, on both sides of the ball. Yeah. This week, we only really going to have trouble with their offense, not their defense.
Yeah. Now, here's my problem with the 8 out of the last 9. I really, when I talk about our dominance over the Ravens, I really only like to bring up the 5 games that we played against Lamar, which were 4-1 against Lamar Jackson. But with all that being said, we've only played Lamar Jackson once in Baltimore, and that was in 2020 with no fans. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be the first time not only we're playing Lamar Jackson in Baltimore with fans, but this is also the first time ever that we're playing Lamar Jackson twice in a season. So he just got a feel for us that first game. Now it's a quick turnaround a couple weeks later, and he's going to get another crack at us. And so for me, it's like we can talk about our dominance over Lamar, but the circumstances are a little bit different in this case. I'm not saying that I'm expecting Lamar to have an MVP-like game against us, but it would not surprise me if Lamar's a little bit better than what we have seen in the past, because a lot of those games have been in Pittsburgh. And the last time we did play him in Baltimore, although there was no fans, they still put up, 24 points in that game. And if they put up 24 or more points again, can our offense without George Pickens keep up with that right now? That's going to be the major question for me.
Yeah, I mean, like Junie said, Lamar gets another shot at us. I didn't know we didn't play him 2 times in a year, so that's a good point to bring up. Like, he just played us. He has more film on us. Like, It's going to be tough. If they score 24 points, we're not winning this game. I'm telling you right now. I don't think we put up that many points without George. We're going to have to muddy up this game. We have to get the run game going, play action off of it, getting our tight ends open. I think our tight ends are going to be very key in this game because our receivers outside of, Mike Williams came in a couple of times, made a couple of plays. If he doesn't play a lot in this game, we have no deep threat. Calvin Austin, I hope he balls out. He has been playing well for us, but if we don't get that run game going, it doesn't matter. Play action passing will be the only way we get some of our guys open. So get that run game going early. Play calling has to be a lot better. Arthur Smith, please call a better game this game. But if we don't get that run game going, I think we're in big trouble.
Yeah, I do think that. I also think that the run game will be better than last week. I think we're basing all of this on last week's. And I think it's a different defense that we're playing. And we're used to this defense. And we ball out really against this defense. And also, with the whole Pickens thing, Pickens didn't score last time we played them.
He did.
No, he changes their whole defense.
He did.
I know he changes it, but
he was more, instead of the big play threat, because they took that away from him, he was more of,
the big body.
No, not even that. I believe he had like 6 catches for like 80 some odd yards. Although he wasn't getting the big deep ball and the big play that we all remember, it was still like, oh, George gets 6 here. Oh, George got 12 here. Oh, George got a quick 4 on an under route here. It was like he was getting plays to move the ball a little bit here and there, and they had to respect that. And so now that he's not there in order for them to respect it, it's like they can hone in and focus on more stuff. That's what Trey's trying to say. It's just like the Eagles did. Without George Pickens, they had 8, 9 men in the box. They knew if they stopped the run that there wasn't a lot that we can do on offense. And the Ravens they're either number 1 or number 2 against the run still. And if memory serves me correctly, like we weren't super successful. I think we did decent against them running the ball last time, but I don't remember us having a great game on the ground. But all in all, if we can't run the ball, I am worried. I am worried about this game. And I just have a feeling that, with all the talk and us as Steeler fans, we know that we've had the Ravens number for the last couple of years, but the media hasn't really caught on to that. They have caught on to that. And they've been blah, 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 8 out of the last 9. Lamar always struggles and sucks against the Steelers, blah, blah, blah. All this is going on. And they're going to be really, really motivated knowing what's on the line, too. I know we're going to be motivated. We just had a tough loss. But they're pissed off. They're tired of it. Marlon Humphrey got asked about, does it bother you? And, normally you say a politically correct answer and you brush it off. He said, yes, I'm sick of losing to the Steelers. They're sick of it. They're tired of it. They're going to be ready to play ball. And if we don't come out and match that, man, it could be a rough day. It really could.
Another thing to point out is like without that deep threat, the checkdowns to like Warren and Najee, like they're not going to be there because the linebackers are going to stay up without a deep threat. Their whole defense is going to be able to play up further. You saw that last week too. I feel like without George Pickens out there, I didn't see Najee get many like checkdowns. I didn't see Warren really get any checkdowns besides like the little screen plays and everything like that. But that's another like point to be proven when George isn't out there. You don't have that short underneath stuff that you can let your playmakers go make a play.
Now, also to bring something up with the Ravens, they have a few people questionable. Rashad Bateman, according to sources that cover the Baltimore Ravens, that he is in a walking boot. He is questionable. Nelson Aguilar is also questionable as well. Right guard Daniel Falel, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I do know that he has been the starter throughout the season at right guard for them, so he's questionable as well. Odafe Owe is questionable, which wasn't he the guy? He's the guy that had 3 sacks against the Steelers last time they played in Pittsburgh. He had a really big game.
That's a big one.
So if he doesn't play, that could be really huge, and we know the Ravens' strengths is up front, and so you don't have an edge rusher like that. That could give Russ an extra half second or so to get the ball out, because that secondary is their weakness. So hopefully some of these guys are out too to kind of match the beaten upness of both teams in this game. But they're still not missing anybody that is as important to them as George Pickens is to us. And again, some of our
backup receivers there. If both of them are out, they have Zay Flowers and who else?
Oof.
No name.
Devontae Walker, Tylan Wallace. I mean, Deontay Johnson is already out. I genuinely think they're going to cut him after this week because they think that we're going to pick him up, and what they realize is there's absolutely no chance that we would pick up Deontay Johnson. Not a chance in hell.
Yeah, you can't say that.
I can say that with 100% certainty.
I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
With our wide receiver room, bro?
Yes, I don't think so.
I am telling you right now, he was listen, Deontay Johnson, the Panthers threw him out the door because they didn't want him. The Panthers.
Okay.
It was a pick swap.
Yeah, but he was actually pretty nice.
Doesn't matter. He's cancer. I don't want him in the locker room. I don't care about Deontay Johnson.
I wouldn't mind him coming back, actually.
No. No. Deontay Johnson, you're never going to be a Steeler again. And I'm going to stamp my guarantee on that. There is zero chance that they release Deontay Johnson, he becomes a Steeler ever again.
I really...
Would you like to bet on the podcast on this?
No, but I really want him to be a Steeler now. Just next week. Just next week. It'd be like, oh, Jody.
We'll rent him for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
I am almost certain.
He just can't get his number back.
I was listening to Steelers radio, and they were talking about it, and they're having the same conversation. Like, would the Steelers pick up Deontay Johnson? One of the guys said they're more happy that he's in the Ravens locker room right now.
Probably.
Than what, again, because he's cancerous. We don't want that in the locker room. We don't need that. We got rid of him for a reason.
I agree. I don't really want him in the locker room, but we could use a little playmaker that gets separation.
Listen.
Maybe Odell.
I agree. I'd rather Odell. I'm not even gonna lie to you on that. I'm not gonna lie to you on that. But
I don't think we're signing.
Enough of this talk of Ravens Steelers. We know what this matchup's about. It's a rivalry game. They know us.
This is for the North.
We know them. This is for the AFC North right now, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even if the Steelers lose this game, they still have a 55% chance of winning the AFC North because of AFC record tiebreakers against the Baltimore Ravens and the fact that they split. But again, it doesn't matter to them. They still want to win this game just as much as Baltimore does. So let's get into our picks. Trey, I'm going to be starting with you. What is your official prediction? You will be in the house for the Ravens-Steelers game. So, Trey, what is your prediction for this game?